want to play it.
It's okay.
It's okay. All right, so let's get into this because phone lines will open up soon. We brought you guys here. Great setup. Y'all are officially established gamers. Like we
Got your cred.
experts established.
Yep.
Let's talk about what you guys are doing that we, Robert and I, have never had the courage to do, which is publish our own game.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Tell us about what brought you here.
All right. So I think it was about, we were at Origins. My brother and I and a bunch of friends were at Origins, I want to say 2 years ago, about maybe just over a year ago, right? Almost 2.
Right.
And when I came home, I mean, we've been gaming so hard and so much that when I came home, I was like, you know what? What if I made a game with the philosophy of we want to make games that people can play? And what I mean by that, it's kind of a joke because if you have one of these closets or these rooms where you want to play everything and you want to get everything out, and in a lot of games there's a lot of barriers to entry. And so I thought, what can we do? And I called Will and I was like, hey, what if we made a game that had a base mechanism of a trick-taking game, but was more than just a trick-taking game? Not to knock on them, but to say, like, could we build a game on top of a trick-taking mechanic? And he said,
how about a monster hunting trick-taking game where every monster alters the style of trick-taking?
I feel like you were holding that in your pocket for a very
he
long time.
Honestly, sitting on that idea. Yeah.
Not really.
I don't think that just flows out.
Yeah.
I was
got-
sitting on the
he's got a-
couch and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? There we go. That's an idea.
Because I got to be honest, Rob told me about you guys, right? So for the folks who watch, they know this is my house. Like, y'all have heard my kids crying. He's like, hey, I got these guys. I'm going to bring them over to your house. We're going to talk about this game. I'm like, Rob.
Not quite like that.
What are you talking about? Like, this is chaos. Like, are you gonna need to be strapped or something? Like, we don't even know these people. Like, this is Florida, man. And then I said, tell me about this game. And he starts with, it's a dungeon crawling trick taking game. And I'm like, okay, stop, we're in.
Yep.
I'm like, hey, wifey, heads up.
Wasn't 100%
Some strangers
on
are
point,
coming.
but it was close. Yeah. Not so much
I mean-
dungeon crawling, but go ahead, Wayne.
I'm saying Carlos invites strangers over his house all the time. It's all good.
Yeah. Don't let him fool you. Yeah.
There have been many different people who put their feet under this table. Like, it's just, I'm that kind of guy.
And bang their knees on this table.
I cut it short.
He cut the legs off because it was too tall, and then he cut it too short. So now, if you're banging your knees, that's the reason.
That's my fault.
You cut the legs down.
But we had to, his little arms can't reach on a tall table.
Now he's going to blame it on me. All right, nice. All right, I got
His
you.
T-Rex arms. But when you said, like, monster fighting, dungeon crawling, like, trick-taking game, like, my heart, like, skipped a beat. Like, okay, how come nobody's come up with that before?
Well, let me ask you about Monster Hunting. Obviously, there's the wildly popular game out there, Monster Hunter, the video game.
Mm-hmm.
Was that any kind of thought, or was that that's completely separate?
No, not really.
Okay,
I
all right.
haven't played the Monster Hunter for years.
Okay.
But
When you say Monster Hunter, that's where I jump to. That's the big thing. So,
Yeah.
but cool. Anyway, yeah.
cryptids,
Okay.
mythological beast, all of that. It's
Yeah.
Probably I was watching Supernatural maybe 2 years ago, and I was like, I haven't seen a board game out there where you're hunting specific cryptids or monsters. So
Cool.
and the name Breakers it's a type of hunter that hunts magical creatures or monsters. That's what
Okay.
a breaker is.
Ah.
Is that fantasy that y'all have had created for the game, or is that
No,
something?
that's actually what a breaker is.
That's
I love it.
established.
I love
Yeah.
when you use established, like, terminology or history or other lore that's already out there, because it's easier to kind of jump in. Like, I struggle when a game has its own complete system and their own codification and words and taxonomy for their type of fantasy. No, thank you for keeping it
So-
simple.
And that's what I'm
With
saying.
that-
Sorry, I was just saying, in the world of fantasy and even just history of the world, there's like the term breakers. It's like instead of creating your own, just do a little research, and there's like you could really just use real life examples of a lot of this stuff, which is good. I like that. Like you're using.
Keep it Tolkien-esque, right?
yeah,
Come
yeah,
on,
right.
Isaac Childers, get it together. Get it together, Isaac Childers.
And what we try to do uniquely with the theme of our game is because these are not just regular creatures, these are monstrous versions of every type of creature. You need special magical types of hunters. And our artist is Justin Gerard, and he is the best at drawing monsters. And we just let him design the monsters because he's so good at it. But the only thing we try to ask is that, like, for example, we have a vampire. And the only thing we wanted to make sure was that this is a monstrous version of a vampire. It's not just a guy in a cloak.
Not just another
Right,
vampire.
Right,
yeah.
like so every type of monster we have is a little bit extra to give you that idea that you really need to really bring it to take these things down.
Nice.
And along with that, the art style is hand drawn.
Yeah, that was the first thing Carlos mentioned when we pulled up the page. He was like, "Man, I like that art," and I was like, "Yeah, it's like a pencil art."
That's right,
That,
and it's
yeah.
on purpose because the idea is they're cryptids, and so no one can really prove they've seen them. So the hunters are drawing them from their memory
Okay.
in their ledgers or in their books.
Darwin-esque, like just
That's right.
sketching
Exactly.
in your journal as you come across them. I like it.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah.
Now, Rob said something about y'all will be leaving a prototype for us to demo
To
out.
mess around with. Yeah.
But I definitely like to set up a day when it's time to pick it up, because it sounds like this. Or looking at it, it's a 2 to 4 player game, and we like trick takers, but we find that 2-player trick takers aren't as good.
Robust,
like,
yeah.
it's robust.
is the
Yeah.
right-
I'd like to get this played with more players, and having you guys play one day would be great.
Unless you can convince us also why it's great at 2 players.
So I'll let Will talk about 2 players
Yeah,
because he's
yeah.
the one who really took the lead on that to convince us to make it, and I think
Nice.
I think he did it on it. So you could
Yeah, so I mean, as you hit it on the head, trick takers with 2 players is really tough. Something unique about our game, obviously, is that each monster you're encountering is going to have a different set of rules, different set of abilities. So it's not going to be that standard. A trick taking game typically has a set mechanic that influences it for that whole game. And if it's 2 players without that third player doing more interaction to it, it can grow stale. The beauty in it, and it's still not like it's going to be with 3 or 4 players, but if the variety in having monster after monster after monster, so up to a total of 6 monsters in a 2-player game, you're going to see a lot of interaction. You're going to see a lot of different abilities because each one's completely different. And then once you start defeating monsters, now you've got its special power you can use in the later rounds. So now you're getting that more 2-player interaction where you're kind of saying, okay, you might have played this, but now you've also got to contemplate, am I going to use my ability? Am I going to put equipment, to kind of mess with the perceived strategy?
So I'll give you a rundown of just the slight differences in each version. So in 4 players, all the suit cards are dealt. There are 4 suits. There's melee, ranged, traps, magic, represented by these breakers on each of the cards. And you deal 12 cards out to each player. You're going to roughly play, in most monsters, 10 tricks. That's a full round. The monsters do alter some of the round mechanics also. So 4-player game, all the cards are on the table. 3-player game, you have 4 hidden cards. And in 2 players, what you're doing is you're going to draw a hand of 10, and each time you play cards, at the end of the round, you're drawing back up to max hand size, so that way you still have some hidden knowledge to be able to work back and forth.
Okay, I was
with
going to
2
ask if there's like a dummy player or
Ju-
anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it just works. And my favorite version of this game is actually teams,
Really?
because you really it's the euchre style. You really need to know how to set your teammate up, and there's so many mechanics that interact with each other that now you have another tool. Instead of just trying to win a trick for yourself, you're trying to set up with your abilities and your equipment on how to alter the cards and the monsters, and that's a really awesome way to play.
I don't know if you folks at home caught when Brandon said play as teams. Rob gave the really. Like, he doesn't play well with others, but when it comes to trick takers,
Oh,
I'm
trick takers
all
is-
about
no, I'm good with
that
that.
team play.
Yeah.
awesome.
Like that's where the joy comes in, because just the stories can come from that. Like, bro, you didn't see where I was headed with that. Like the fact that you have a team aspect to it, it makes it great.
So
I know, like The King is Dead by Peter Silverman. I can't even pronounce it. I remember Rob played it. It's meant to be a team game. They played 4 players individually because I think they preferred it that way.
Yeah, well, I don't think we knew what we were doing, and we liked it that way. But yeah, anyway.
So it seems like
Team.
in the 2-player and then in base 4-player, it's all fully cooperative sort of trick taker. But then you could also play 2 versus 2 as far as teams, or is it all?
So there's no actual cooperative mode. When you play
Okay.
teams, the way you win is normally you win by being the first player to win 3 monsters or beat 3 monsters.
Okay.
In a team variant, it's the team that wins a total of 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Nice.
All right, so walk us through some of tell the folks at home, give your elevator pitch on why Breakers. So we learned a little bit about you guys and how you got here, a little bit about the game, and I know you gave some lore to it. And much like Rob and I, you talked a story,
Yeah.
and then we came to Brandon, and he gave us mechanisms.
I'm mechanisms guy. He's story guy. Yeah, for sure.
Tell us a little bit about the game. Sell this game. Tell us why we should back this thing, because it is on Kickstarter right now. 203 backers, 20,000, a little over 20,000, and 20 days to go. Let's see. How can we share this with the folks at home?
All right. So
I've already posted it once in the chat, and we have it on our Discord, and we can post it in the show notes as well.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks,
yeah,
Wayne.
Thank you.
My engineer.
So Breakers, we've kind of talked about some of the mechanics, but it's unique in that you've got different ways to play from 2-player, 3-player, 4-player. That's kind of where you're all playing against each other. You've got teams, and every game's going to be different. 21 monsters. We actually put up a stretch goal for another monster created by the community, but those monsters allow such a variety because with that you've got an ability, a win condition, and then a monster power. So you're not guaranteeing what monster you're going to hit first. That can alter how people are going to play on the second one. And, those powers then start comboing up against, each other. So you're kind of building the tactics as you go along. And thematically, that's kind of where we went with it is you're a hunter on a journey, right? And as you're growing, you're grabbing more equipment, you're becoming stronger. And then that final battle against the other hunters to claim your third trophy is really epic. And you can feel it as you play along each single game. And I've play tested this for hundreds of hours, and I still don't get sick of it. So
Nice.
it's a lot of fun.
How's the balance, right? Because we're talking about monsters not only being the win condition for that trick, but also having a reward, right, for winning the monster. How does that balance out over the life of that match, of that play? When Rob gets to kill the cool monster that gives him the cool powers, but Carlos is still like hanging on to that goldfish he slaughtered.
Right. So that's what we have is these equipments. Each player isn't left behind. So, if Rob goes ahead and takes the Phoenix and has this super cool monster ability to use.
Which we call trophy.
Right.
Trophy. Okay.
Everyone else will get equipment. And those equipment you can save for when you really want to go all in to try and win a monster. They add a +1 to your card's value. So, you can kind of save it. Everyone will play their cards as standard, following suit. At that point, it changes to what we have that's unique in Breakers is the action phase. That's where people can use their equipment, their trophy abilities, and you kind of only get a once a round. So it starts with the lead player. Once you pass, you don't get to go back and do anything else. That's where the player politics kind of go in, the strategy really, and what you're playing, what you're trying to maybe bait out in equipment or that monster power or trophy rather. And that's what makes it very unique.
The other thing to add about the trophies is we spent a lot of time designing and balancing where we wanted to go. And we've had a lot of debates about this because as we teach new players over the last year, people will argue about what power is good or not. And I will assure you, they're all good, but it depends on the puzzle you're trying to solve. But they're not instant win type of things. They require circumstances. They require situations, and they all have drawbacks depending on what the power is.
It's kind of like what one of your favorite games you talked about, Cosmic Encounters. Like when everybody's complaining about everybody else's power, then it's
Oh,
balanced,
Yeah.
right? If everyone feels like everyone else's power is broken, now we know we're balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, the thing I like most about Breakers is that it's really like a homage to all of the things in gaming my entire life that I love, all put together. And it reminds me a lot about Cosmic Encounter as far as alien powers and that balance and the back and forth. And depending on the circumstance, is yours good now or not, for sure.
Now there is a co-op version of this, right? Or is it just team?
Just team.
Team.
Okay, so it's always going to be a winner and a loser.
Yes.
Very good.
Good. I like winners and losers.
Yeah. Well, we also do like the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring trick taking game, which is full co-op. Just saying, Rob likes that too.
Yeah.
And then we also like the Crew, both the submarine version and the deep space version. So there's nothing wrong with cooperative trick taking.
I like my co-op.
Just
Yeah.
like establishing that
I
here.
just don't like semi-co-op. That's my worst. That gets my goat. But that's
Yeah,
another
you gotta
story.
go full on or
competitive.
none.
One or the
Full on
other.
competitive game right here.
And I don't know as much about the game as I probably should, but I know there's something here with a day and a night, or
Some of the monsters' abilities use what we call day and night to trigger different things. So just the overview of the game is you reveal the monster, you deal everybody 12 cards, you play a trick, then you do your action phase, resolve. That's it. Easy to get into, easy to learn, as long as you understand trick-taking mechanisms.
Sure.
Right. So that takes a lot of time to teach people who don't know. And like Will pointed out, if you have equipment and other trophies out, the monsters feel different because, for example, like this vampire, when an 8 is played or a value is changed to an 8, the day and night switches.
Okay.
And what you're trying to do is, in this case, you're being the person who has the most tricks won during the day. So all of them are, we're attempting to thematically tie the mechanisms together. And so you would track that. So if someone plays, it starts at day, and if someone plays an 8, at one point you would just put to mark it as night, so you know, and then it goes back and forth throughout the whole trick.
Cool. Yeah.
As you flip this new monster, this vampire we're looking at, I got to admit, this art is nice. Let me show this to the folks at home to see if I can get it up on camera here. So, Wayne, I want you to see that.
Yep,
It's
looks
pencil
good.
art,
Yeah,
but man,
love
that
it.
is good.
The detail is really cool because you
And
can
look at
like
this.
even through the camera at a distance, you can see the detail.
Through a sleeve, too.
Yeah, through.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get the light to not shine. But at the end of the day, this is no sparkly vampire. Like,
Nope.
they are not, this is not Twilight.
Not Twilight? No.
No.
That's exactly what we said, too. We're like, Edward Cullen is not.
Oh, yeah. These are a little more fierce. So, yeah, that's cool.
All right, and I know with these smaller games, it's tough to get like real deep into them because they are these quick to learn, hard to master type games. But I'm looking forward to getting at least a few matches with Rob,
yeah.
and then maybe with multiple players on it. We thank you so much for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah.
And want to now open up the phone lines. It is now 9:30. We will open up the phone lines for the folks at home to call in and ask questions or change the topic. It don't matter. You know how it works. When you call in, the show is yours for the next 10 minutes. 813-618-7099 is the number. With us tonight are Brandon and Will from Lightning Lake Games. We're talking about their game, Breakers.
This is your opportunity to talk to game designers. We've had designers on the show before, and we've had participation. So definitely this is your chance. If you have questions about the process for making games, the process for running this whole thing, you're currently, as we mentioned, we'll continue to mention, on Kickstarter. If people are interested in the process on how you get into Kickstarter and the pluses and minuses, because we've now got other platforms out there where I guess that's something we probably can touch on in just a minute, but this is your opportunity to call and ask these guys questions. So they're going to be on the show here for about another 15 to 30 minutes, maybe-ish. And I think we got a caller coming in.
Let me see if I can figure out how to answer this bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
Did I
hang up
miss
on that
I
one,
have
did
fat
you?
finger
All
it?
Whoever called, please call again. So we'll make sure we get it right next time. But yeah, I think you
Disappeared before I hit it.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay.
I'll let it happen
Yeah.
again. Call
right
in
back,
again.
please. Yeah.
When it comes to the game, we're gonna want to learn about the process too. That'll be a big part of our
Yeah, I was
conversation. I
just
hope.
gonna get into it. Say like, can you? I mean, we could talk about from the beginning all the way through the process, but I'm always fascinated. Like, you had that initial idea. Then what was the first prototype like? How did you get from first prototype to, actually printing out, and cutting out cards and doing art? And then I always love to hear about how you get into demo tables. Like, how did you get the demo table with Dice Tyrese? What was that process like? Origins, and what was your experience like at the various conventions you've gone through demoing the game? Like, what was the hits? What was the drawbacks? What were the advice that you would give to others?
So in the very early stages, I just made cards on PowerPoint, and we would print them out, and then I put it on Tabletop Sim as just cards, and we would design them in these slides and update them there, and I had all these files and all these. And so eventually we moved over to Canva, which is very user-friendly, and we converted there, and we used an awesome prototyping tool. And this is a shout out to Dextros. It is awesome. If you ever want to make a prototype, both either printed or on Tabletop Sim, Dextros is the way to go. And so I converted everything over to that, and we had a Tabletop Sim running. We got our art in. It looked very close. Now, early on, we were drawing like silly little pictures or just typing, and we had so many renditions of icons and art that just transformed over the time. But once you got into tabletop and you could learn how to use those tools, it changes everything. And we just sat for hours and played. And in the very first version of the game, we thought that the win condition would be who survived the longest. So you would have health, and the monsters would trigger damage or that. And then we played it, and it was terrible. And so what we did was every time we did something in this game, we asked ourselves this simple question: is that fun? Right? Are we rewarding people for doing the things they want to do in this game? How can we make it fun? And that's how I think we got to the best version now. But even at Origins, we had a prototype that we had a number of them printed on, professional quality cards, not what they will be in their final form. But those of you who are at Origins know we had old icons that were more clip art in the center of the cards. And people were like, hey, the monster art is awesome and we want more of that. So that's when we said, okay, we're going to have to really take the plunge here and have our artist make characters to give it more life and more consistency. And so there was so much feedback, so many people. We got to the point where we were playing this thing so many times that we would have already heard a version of the feedback, and we had to start like keeping it in a ledger to triage it in a way to be like, yeah, we know they're going to say this. Here's the answer. Here's the way to think about it. Or what you find a lot of times when you play test is people want to change the game so they just win.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So it's like, it'd be awesome.
I know somebody like that.
If I could just play this card and be done.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be awesome in this game if I could use my equipment as many as I want on my card when I want. Like, so we had to start sorting out what was, actionable and what was just people giving us comments, and there was a lot of that over the year.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name, where you're calling from.
This is Ron Frazier from Atlanta.
Hey, Ron. How
My
are
man.
And it turns out the phone, it is on.
Oh,
See,
yeah, it is on. Yeah, the phone is on.
I
this
will
time.
say most of the time it's on me.
Yeah.
I just don't think you were there when I hit the answer, but this is the first caller of the night. We're going to put it on the board.
Yes, there we go. All right, teamwork. What's going on, Ron? What you up to?
So this game sounds interesting to me. I'm trying to be mindful of the money that I spend on Kickstarter for games.
Yep.
But this sounds pretty cool. I thought it was interesting in the discussion of feedback and determining what feedback is valuable to you at what stage in the design of the game. It's really important to have made that distinction. I imagine that these guys learn these lessons along the way.
We're still learning.
Still learning. Yeah. Just got Kickstarted a couple weeks ago.
1 week.
1 week ago.
Just over a week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's cool. I mean, the game sounds really interesting to me.
Now, Ron, I will say, Ron, it's in your ballpark, right? When Ron does this segment on the Board Game Breakfast with Dice Tower, games under $20, but I think with inflation, he's moved it up to 30.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So I think it's in that price range.
It was 30. It was 30 and up to 35.
There you go.
Okay, 30 to 35.
Yeah, them tariffs.
Yeah.
We had to bring it up.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Let me ask Ron. I haven't known you to be a Trick Taker fan. We played.
He introduced
games.
us to diamonds, bro.
Well, he introduced
Are
you
you
to
kidding me?
diamonds. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I've played games with you. I've never played a Trick Taker with you, but go ahead. Okay. I just wanted to see what your trick taking cred was.
All right, that's okay. I'm not super big on trick taking games, but I really like a number of them. Right, like I grew up in a trick taking card playing household, even though I wasn't that great. We had a little space going on growing up in the house in the neighborhood.
Nice.
So like, I've always been familiar with the concept. So when I actually learned a trick taking game that was with rules that were consistent and made sense. Like, diamonds was the thing. Like that really hit. And then when I learned about the crew, yeah, like now we're really cooking. We have a co-op game, which I like co-op games, and a trick taker, which is great. So it's like the best of both worlds for me. So, I wanted to ask. So the hit point thing, I find that really fascinating because it seems like, and this is a question for the designers, was that a thing that you just assumed that since you were having a fantasy dungeon crawler game that you were just going to have in it?
Yeah, so it's a great question. Reality, it was more of like when we were thinking about monster hunting and moving through with it, it was more of like, well, it's hunting these mythical beasts is obviously going to be a game of attrition. And with that, you're hunters, you're going to suffer from these massive attacks that they're obviously going to be doing. So we first thought, trick, like with the trick taking, health points, it kind of would put an end on it. Players are going to obviously lose all of their health, and then the game would be over, and there's typically one left standing that would be crowned the winner. So we just kind of thought about it as like thematically they're battling. However, we play tested it a bunch, like a ton with the life, and what we found is eventually like it would be just the first monster or the second monster you're wanting to play more, but then everyone in the group's already lost all of their hit points, and we want people
TPK.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of ruins the party.
Exactly.
Also, I mean, I had this light bulb moment where we were dreading it, and we wanted to have exciting moments. We wanted to be like, we did this thing that won the monster, and the monster is the bad guy, so it alters the game, but in a fun way. But it's still sort of like, oh, there's that groan moment when it's revealed. But then we wanted to feel good about winning the monster and using its power, and so turning it into how can you beat it rather than how you can survive it, and then just the hit points just didn't make those magical moments where you're like, yes, I want to do this thing.
Right. It's interesting because I'm glad you guys made that really made that connection, right? Like, because the last thing I want to be in a co-op game, unless it really synergizes with the rest of the way the game works. I don't want to be having a sense of dread,
Right.
In my co-op game. I want tension, but I don't want dread. I don't want, while everybody else is down to 1 hit point, and I got 20 still. That doesn't feel awesome.
No, for sure.
And this will happen in this game too. If players have 2 monsters each, it's gonna end, and then you have that tension of who's gonna get that last monster. It isn't someone sitting out. Now what do you do with that person? So that the game continues to play and roll through the end.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, you actually when someone's at 2 monsters, I mean, because the win conditions to get to 3 trophies, you'll see other players at the table start going, "Hey, well, I might use my monster power on this."
I was wondering about teaming up and King of the Hill, and
a little bit of that,
Okay,
which
yeah.
it's fun. It's entirely dependent upon your play group,
Sure.
what everyone is comfortable with. But sometimes you're like, I might, if I can just let this person win, I've got a chance in the next round.
And
I just
again,
try to stab him from the start, so that's just take him right out of the game.
if you don't like king making elements, though, that's why the teams variant is awesome, because that's gone.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. I mean, really, those are the only questions I had about the game.
Yeah.
What topics do you have for us?
I don't think I really have anything new. I was just calling to see what you guys were talking about, and
My man Ron came in clutch last week. Last week I was alone. Rob was at Dice Tower Retreat. Wayne was with family. NFL had started, so I was all alone. My man Ron called in, and we hung out for about 38, almost 40 minutes, just chatting about board games the whole time. So thank you, Ron, for always coming in clutch.
Yeah. That was a fun conversation. Like, my focus has been on my 2 role-playing game sessions I'm running here. I'm running one tomorrow night online, and I'm having an in-person session at my house on Saturday. So, like, there hasn't been much in the way of thinking about board games this week.
Yeah, still getting some Super Show in?
Oh, and I mean, I always get Super Show in.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah.
I mean, I play tested the solo mode for it, so, like, you know, I play it solitaire, like, every night.
Nice.
So,
Wait,
right
there's
now,
a-
I'm
wait,
actually
wait.
sorting cards. before I'm gonna-
Hang on,
Sounds like it's
Ron.
coming.
There's a
It sounds like it's
solitaire mode?
coming now.
Yeah. So there's a Mucha Lucha themed collaboration with Eddie Moore called Super Lucha, which is shipping to the backers now, and will be on GameFound imminently. And with that Kickstarter, we made a stretch goal to make a solo mode for it, and I play tested the solo mode. So while everybody else is waiting for the trials and stuff, I've been playing the solo mode for the past year by myself, every night.
I like it.
Nice.
I never play solo games
So-
unless I do,
Yeah, until
which
you
is
do.
a lot of times.
Much more recently, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, I love solo games too, which that's another thing, and another direction I need to go with some of my stuff.
Nice.
But,
Well, as,
Yeah,
as always, Ron, we appreciate you calling in, making it a call-in show. Caller number 1 this week.
Yep. As always, I enjoy the conversations, and hopefully we get some other people calling in to ask these gentlemen questions about the game or just to chat.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Have a good evening.
That's our buddy Ron Frazier from Atlanta. Great guy. We got to meet him at Dice Tower Retreat. I think he was down at one of the retreats, and he was down at Dice Tower East. It's not too far from us. So.
Become a good friend of the show. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
So
And check
talk
out
about-
Ron.
yeah.
Ron Talks Tabletop. So I always got to
Yeah.
put that out there. So check him out on, got the YouTube channel. He's on, what's the main? Is it Tweeter, one of those things? You know, I'm old.
You're so old.
He's on
I'm so
YouTube
old.
and yeah.
YouTube and
Sure,
all that.
yeah.
So, yeah.
He's on the gram.
Yeah,
He's on
there
the
you go.
gram, yeah.
On the gram. Sure.
So the you've gone through the iterations of the game, and then you started printing it, and then I guess at what point did you decide we're going to try to publish this game, or did you think about maybe pitching it to publishers?
I don't, honestly, I don't think we ever really said, we're going to do a pitch it. We came up with it. We were able to get demo versions printed, and we kind of started reaching out to the community. Obviously, if people don't enjoy it, then we're like, okay, we'll hit the drawing board. But we received just an overwhelming positive response. So from there, we were like, you know what? Let's go to Gen Con. Let's go to Dice Tower. Let's meet with people. Let's just
We did not go to Gen Con. Origins.
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 Gen Con's the future.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
Gen Con's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were not going to pitch it. I think from the very early stages, we were going to just go as far as this thing could go.
Just your baby, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
And the goal was to make the best game we could, and we didn't know what would happen, right? So we just kept saying, hey, here's the next version. Here's the next card. Here, we're going to get rid of this monster. We're going to do this thing. And we just kept building on top of it, and it just started picking up momentum. And I think I had this moment where you usually, when you rely on your friends and family to try stuff out and help you or play things, you think they're just going to say, oh, that's nice. Well, what started to happen to me is I have a lot of friends who are not gamers, but they kept saying, can we play Breakers? Can you bring Breakers over? I'm like, okay, let's put a timeout on Breakers. Let's play Dune Imperium.
Good call.
Right, like that wasn't happening, and they kept asking to play. So I knew, I was like, there's something about this for new gamers to get them in to see like, here's the magic. Here's how you feel that feeling when you're like, that light bulb goes off. So that's why we kept play testing it and getting new people to try it. We had hardcore like Magic judges try it and tell us what they thought, and we just kept going.
Well, now that you mentioned that, I never had thought about it, but this could be pardon the kind of pun here, a bridge to board gaming. I mean, because you've a lot of Americans, a lot of people grew up playing spades or hearts or rummy or whatever at their house, and are familiar with the ideas of trick taking. This obviously takes it to another level. This makes it more of a gamification of that, and a more some complexities and some powers and abilities and all that kind of stuff. This could be kind of the next step to introduce people who are only used to playing those classic trick-taking type games into bridging into maybe the board game world, the board game hobby. So, yeah.
And it's really cool when the mechanics come together and your friends notice them without you telling them.
Yeah.
And they're moving the pieces around and you're like, oh, there's an out here.
They
and
got it.
And they find it and you're like, okay, we did it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
that's
You
cool.
see the line to win, and you're like, are they going to do it? And all of a sudden they get it. And
Light bulb goes on.
Oh,
It's
it's sweet.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice. So was Origins this year sort of like the big coming out for the game, or had
Yeah.
you bring it to other? Yeah.
So
Talk-
that was the
talk
first
about, like,
convention.
Yeah. How did you get in touch with Origins? How did you get it there? And then like talk about your experience demoing a game at a convention of 20, 30,000 people.
Yeah, so I have to say, my brother is the most enthusiastic version of us here, and he made that happen. He was like, "We're flying in, we're doing this thing." He got all the signups. I think we had like 200 signups. We didn't have a booth. We had a demo scenario, so we just ran games for 8 hours a day, and we have this demo set of monsters, which is 5 with the real art, and then we let people play the rest, and we just. We're grinding games of breakers and teaching new people in that loud room over and over and over again. And it was it was wild. It was exhilarating. And then also, I mean, look, when you put art into the world, you're gonna get your feelings hurt.
Yes.
And you have to be able to. We had these 3-way calls where we're like, look, this isn't personal. This is feedback. This is what the fact that people are telling us and want more of this thing, we can use that. And so how can we make things that are appropriately changeable? But look, not everyone's going to like what something looks like, or not everyone's going to like a certain thing. And I think we had a lot of practice at Origins to be able to do that. It was very exhausting, but really rewarding. And I think we proved to people that this thing is real, and it's awesome. And I think, if I just want to add, we had so many moments where you had like classic trick-taking veterans come to the table and they're suspicious. They're like, you got monsters in a trick-taking game, right? And so they
Ready to not like it. Yeah.
and this happened at Dice Tower. To jump ahead a little bit, we played with a woman who was like an expert trick taker, and every time a monster would reveal, she would giggle and then totally annihilate us.
it
Every
was
time.
awesome.
I mean, she would just destroy us in our own game,
Yeah.
and she
Right.
loved
Nice.
it. And like she got like because every monster ability is a play on a version of a trick taking mechanic. So if you can see like what we're doing here.
Sure.
Like I've played this game before.
Oh yeah. So I mean, the conventions
Nice.
were, I have to say, going to play games at a convention is preferable because you get to play and just going here to show the world that you have this thing and you're putting it out there feels a lot different than going to Origins and playing for 22
So
hours.
at Origins, you have 200 people sign up. You have people coming in and playing it. Was there something from Origins that changed from Origins to when you live on Kickstarter? Like, was there feedback that actually helped change the game? Yeah.
Definitely.
the whole
Because feedback is tough, right? Because
Yeah.
you guys,
I was going to go there.
you
Yeah.
guys are practicing and training and selling. Like you guys are working to sell this game. But the people that are playing your game, they're not practiced in giving feedback. So like you said, hey, it's not personal, but you know what? That last one sure felt personal.
Well,
like
Yeah.
we had a couple people just tell us like, your game's ugly.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
was like, oh, okay, well,
you just
well,
kicked my baby.
Well,
Yeah.
but here's the thing. If it's ugly, okay. But is there something we could do to make it less ugly that's constructive?
Mhm.
Because there's a subjective quality. But so I think the biggest change we had, even after Dice Tower, was we made a lot of graphic design things to just really make it pop a little bit more. we always felt like it was missing something, and I think changing some of the color schemes and obviously adding the characters. Now, not everybody likes the characters, so it's like 50-50, but we wanted to put as much art as we could because Justin's art is it needs to be in the world, and like we want to have as much of it as we can.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to do every single monster. He did the box cover, and then with the suit cards are hunters with their specialized abilities, whether it be melee, ranged, traps, or magic. He created a kind of a breaker for each of those suits. So it really connected his artwork throughout our game.
The other thing, Wayne, that really mattered in the conventions, Origins more so than Dice Tower, because Dice Tower, we had a lot of high-level gamers that really picked it up very quickly. And at Origins, we had a wide variety of skills and history. And I think what we learned at Origins is how to be more specific with language. And someone would say, oh, I don't understand that. And then the three of us separately, for nights at a time, would have arguments about, does that make sense to change? Like, what are we saying what we need to say? So there was a lot of like language and editing and concise phrasing that really had to go into how the monsters are written.
I got to chime in here. It's always an interesting topic with demoing and feedback, and this is something we've talked about on the show before, but Carlos and I have been to a couple of the Stegmaier design days, and we've seen games in all levels there. We've seen people who just penciled something in. We've seen established designers there that are working on stuff. They've usually got about 40 or 50 games there, and you spend on our side of it. We were invited as content creators, but then we would just go and we would set a schedule every day, and we would play these games, and then you'd rotate from table to table, and so. What we found interesting was the difference in some designers in how they took that feedback. And again, we've talked about this on the show before. Some of them very defensive. Any comment you would make, they were like, oh, well, there's a reason for that. We put that in there for that reason. And, it was almost like we were irrelevant. We were playing the game, but they were like, well, this is, close to the final version. So, you can play this and you can test it. Maybe I'll take some of your ideas. And then we had just the opposite. We had people that were just eager with notebooks. Every time somebody would say something, they were jotting down notes. They were, really, really.
Then there are some folks that went too far.
Right.
You give them feedback, they start writing on the card. Like, okay, I'll change that right now.
I saw that. Yeah,
and I'm like, bro, calm down.
You're right. That needs to be a 4, not a 5. Let me modify that. Yeah.
I think we have a really nice balance between the three of us to sort of negotiate and decide what's important. But because of the worldview of this game, we share it in a way, so we know the best interest is what's best for this game. We do a nice job talking about it and debating it, and then say, okay, now what? What's actionable? And is that still fun?
Yeah. And it sounds like because there's three of you can, like, if it's just one person, when it's like your baby, it's hard to change your baby. But like with three of you working on it, it's like that the cooperative nature comes in, and you have to kind of like agree, like, okay, yeah, I'll let this one go because the two of the three of you agree on a change. So you can take that criticism or feedback better than just a solo person that's sitting in a room designing their own game type of thing. It sounds like so.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
it's definitely helpful.
I think it's hard to let go of monsters too for us. So like, there's a lot of ideas, a lot of monsters, and there's only 21 in the game, which is a lot. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of monsters that you'll never know.
Oh, that
you got expansion material now, right?
Yeah, there you go. Expansions.
There's a reason they're not in the game.
Right. Yeah. Well, if this is wildly popular,
that's called a stretch goal.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, let's jump to the comments. I don't want to ignore the folks at home.
Yeah.
We've had some comments in here. Let's see if we got. Started off tonight with my man James Odak and Shaq saying, "Whoa, on time tonight."
Hey,
They're
we
surprised.
have gifts. You got to be on time, right?
4 or 5 minutes late starting the show. So.
Yeah, look at that.
Thanks, James. Yeah.
Andrew Bernhard says, "Bran, use your outside voice."
Oh, okay. Outside voice.
Do we know an Andrew?
Yeah, that's one of my best friends.
There you go.
I
That
think
sounds good.
it's a mic issue.
Giving
I'm
you a
not
hard
speaking,
time. Yeah.
Where I just have that soft tone, Andrew.
Andrew back with Egon mention. So it must be some inside stuff. I love it. I'm going to ruin this name. Charioswashko.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Says Star Wars Unlimited Cube. So we're going back to that unit of measurement.
Yeah.
So it looks like someone wants a whole cube.
No, he knows that.
Yeah.
That's one of the cubes.
Andrew Bernard says, we'll just call him Andrew from here forward. Brandon loves a good lane battle. I love lane battlers. Okay.
Yep.
What am I thinking of? Land, Air, and Sea, or Air, Land, and Sea.
Air, Land, and Sea.
Yeah, that's a great one. You could probably see multiple copies. I've got 2 of the
Compile.
basic, and then I've got the Kitty Critters version. Great.
Skin.
Compile. I haven't tried that one yet.
So
That's a fun one.
what's important about Compile for us is that we love the card quality so much that Longpack's making our game that our deluxe version has the same card stock, which is reverse UV coating on the cards. So if you know that game and you think they're PVC or they're amazing cards, that's what's going to be on the deluxe version.
Interesting.
That game's awesome.
Battle Line. Rob mentioned that
Battle
one
Line's good.
earlier.
Schottentotten.
That's an old one. The Schottentotten Battle Line. That's all Dr. Reiner Knizia's game line. Radlands, another great lane battler. Yeah, man, lane battlers. Good job. I like it.
I just want to keep things on the point here. We are at an hour.
they-
I know you guys
they committed
have
to an hour.
Have a bit,
We'll run them through
let's wait till
the
10 o'clock.
comments just to see if anybody has questions for them.
Yep.
Andrew back in here. Dune Imperium out here like the John Travolta Pulp Fiction GIF. Just like looking around.
Okay, gotcha. All right, that one. Yep.
I saw that in my head.
Okay.
Good call. James Odak, DI is a top game. Dune Imperium top game.
Yeah, always.
Oh, we've gone international tonight, gentlemen. We've gone international. Our man
Oh,
Edmund
Edmund's on there from
England
Sweden.
out of Sweden is
Yeah.
commenting.
Hey,
Hello,
Edmund.
guys.
Who's also developing his own game.
He
So,
is.
Yes, the container game. It's like
Yeah,
a like a
shipping and
container
containing.
ship.
Nice.
shipping.
That's all over
Yeah.
BGG.
Edmund England says, "Hello, guys. Nice interview." And then next comment, discussion. So I'm assuming that's tied together.
Yep.
Nice interview and discussion.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Edmund. Yep.
Great guys here. They made these guys over here across the table from us has made the conversation very easy.
Got to point Chad Stilson there. Yeah.
Chad Stilson, he does a lot of graphic design work. He's a great guy. It says, gentlemen, and Wayne too.
Yeah, I'm like, thanks, Chad. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Fist. Pound it. Then we put a link to the Board Game Breakers in our chat for you folks at home to check it out.
Sure,
Please
yeah.
check it out on Kickstarter as well. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Wayne's reminding you how to do that. Ron is asking, is the phone line actually on? He found out it is. Chad is from up north somewhere. He says Euchre for life. That makes sense.
It means he's Midwestern. Is
Yeah,
where Chad's from
Midwestern.
Eventually, yeah.
Nice.
Roger says this game sounds pretty cool. Thank you, Roger. Appreciate it. Uncle Raj is a plant, says Ryan.
Take the logo
We
gave
got
him
a
away, is
whole
what I
crew
said,
here.
yeah.
You got Sam D in the house says there's nothing better than the deep shout and sighs at the table when you win that last monster. So we got
So
some
Sa-
playtesters and
Sa-
players in here.
Well, Sam is our third guy. He's my brother.
Oh, there you go.
That's
Nice.
the okay. That's bro.
Nice.
Welcome, Sam.
Welcome,
He's in
Sam. Thank you for
Austin,
popping in.
Texas, so he couldn't drive in. today.
Oh.
You can always call in. It is a call-in show,
You can
folks.
call Sam.
That's how this works. Ron is correcting Robert and says Instagram too. So yes,
Oh,
Rob, he
okay.
is also
Sorry,
on the
Ron.
gram.
Wanted to hit you out there. Yeah.
He's a big fantasy role play guy. So I think part of what he called in for is because of this artwork. Like he gave me a book. I'm trying to remember the name of the RPG. It's like a real small old RPG. And it's all pencil art like this. And he's one of his favorite. He loves it. He gave me a copy. Thank you, Ron Frazier. Chad is in the chat, says, what roles do you two fill in your publishing company?
You wear all hats, or do you have lanes that you stay in, or
I mean, we have a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Certainly. Brandon's done the graphic design work as well. I'll be managing some of the business side of it as well. I mean, we're just there to help out in any field, really. If anyone needs anything, I think we're pretty open to assist.
cool?
James Odak asks, where are you producing your game? In the U.S., China? Question mark,
Big
question mark.
question these days. Yeah, tariffs and
We're
all
going to
that.
be using Longpack and mostly in China.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And so how did you choose that company, or did you research multiple companies here in the States or here overseas? Talk about that if you could, because I think that's interesting as well.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of companies out there. We really connected with Longpack, met them at Dice Tower, and just got to get to know them, what they do. Obviously, they explored the tariffs. They were really. I had a list of questions, so that's kind of how I am.
Sure.
I'll have it all ready to go, and so I was had those questions at our meeting, and they had every single answer prepared. I mean, it was amazing. I'd ask about the terrace. Well, we're glad you asked. And they pulled this bag out with the whole thing and gave a really good explanation to it. So after meeting them, after them being so prepared for that, I felt confident that that would be a good company to work with as far as that goes.
Nice.
Very cool.
Thanks, James, for the question. And then finally, Chad Stilson is the last comment. Says Michigan, Euchre kept us warm on those cold winter nights.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the chat that caught us up. Y'all did get a phone call in, so it is officially a call-in show for y'all too. I know we said we get y'all till about 10 o'clock. I want to thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Brandon,
Appreciate you being on.
Will, thank you so much for coming all the way to the studio to drop off your copy of Breakers.
I said we'll get with you about. Is there a time specifically you need this back by?
Who's
or-
the next group that needs this?
Not really. I've got another copy
Okay.
that I just got back. So
You're local, so
yeah,
just
we're
just come knock
local.
on his door.
Come and knock on my door. When's the next game day?
This Saturday.
This Saturday,
This
Saturday,
This
actually,
Saturday,
yeah.
so,
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Rob, this will be a great
Yeah, I was
day.
going to say, do you mind if I took it to a game day, introduced
for
it to
it.
10, 15, 20
Yeah,
people?
yeah.
We
Okay.
didn't print a rule book for you.
Okay.
But it is on the website. It's on the Kickstarter. If
Okay.
you have any
I've watched
questions,
the
you
how to
can let us
play.
know.
So
Oh, yeah,
okay, so I'll
definitely.
Very
watch
cool.
that again and make sure I got the rules down. But cool. Yeah, I'll definitely introduce it to some people then.
The
Yep.
livest and freshest of the rules.
Yeah.
It's on the website.
Last version.
Nice.
yeah.
Very cool.
Nice
All
to
right.
meet you guys. Thank you
Yeah, it
so
was
much.
nice to
Yep,
Sweet.
close us out. Let the folks at home know where they can find out more about y'all, Breakers. You know, where can they learn about this?
Lightning Lake Games, all that good stuff.
We have a website, lightninglakegames.com. We are on Instagram. Check out our Kickstarter. We have a Facebook. You can say Twitter. We say X. We also have a Blue Sky.
Oh yeah.
We're out there everywhere. Just check us out, and thank you
And if this takes
for
off,
everything.
plans for more of this, or you think this is
Yeah.
a one-time baby?
I
or-
want the
No,
legacy
no,
game.
this
the
is,
legacy version.
Hopefully, this is the beginning. I think there's more to explore in this universe.
Mhm.
So we have some ideas about that. We have some ideas for some other games. But again, the philosophy is games you can play. So
Okay.
whatever comes next, you can get to the table. We promise.
Nice.
Very cool.
And one other thing, if you're, I mean, not everyone's able to get their hands on a demo. We do have it on Tabletop Simulator to download and play. You can see that through our Kickstarter page.
So
Oh, very
TTS
cool.
as well.
And do y'all do any teaches on there? I know sometimes
We're-
I've s-
We're happy to do a teach.
Okay.
Just got to reach out to us on one of our many
on those
socials,
platforms. Yeah.
and we'll schedule something.
Sweet.
I'm
That's
a rule book guy. Like I go to sleep reading rule books in bed.
Yeah.
Like it's what I do for fun.
Work.
So I'm gonna try to get through that
Yeah.
rule book and see if I can grok it out of the rule book, and then I'll definitely provide feedback if I couldn't. I mean, English is not my first language, but I tend to understand games when I read them from the rule book. So I want to do that, and then if that doesn't work out, then we'll see about a TTS demo.